you bring up the deficit, and it takes me to two different things, both involving Maha. So one is we want health care for everybody. We have to fix health care, and we want these Obamacare subsidies. But I've been told the reason that those Obamacare subsidies that were put in place during COVID were meant to sunset, that the Democrats, by the way, set to sunset, is because they would have cost so much money over, I can't remember the time frame, but it was, of course, over several years. I think it was up to a decade. It was into the trillions. It would have added trillions more to the deficit. But then we want healthcare for all Americans. Like there's definitely a conundrum. Same thing with Maha. It's like, they cut all these people and all these different departments, and they're cutting research. And there was a moment where Kennedy was testifying. He goes, we don't have the money for all of this. Like, we have to make cuts. That's the reality. But it's like, you're cutting healthcare for women, and you're doing, and the nuance of this. Can you tell me, like, what is a solve for healthcare? Someone asked me, and I was like, function outside the system, get a high deductible healthcare plan, and do cash pay, preventative medicine. Like, what is the solve?
Yeah, so a couple things. First of all, you mentioned Maha. I got to tell you, like Maha to me, I'm one of these people. I know that a lot of Maha was driven and people's eyes were awakened because so many women, especially Maha moms, really drove that issue. And I'm a convert. I'm fascinated by it because for the longest time, I'm a guy that's dealt with like weight issues and I'm like to I always thought like when I'm trying to eat healthy, well, I'm eating this because there's a stamp on it that says heart healthy, and then you find out there's a boatload of ultra processed seed oils. My favorite example, by the way, is red dye, where we were told, it's banned all these other places. Bobby Kennedy and the Maha movement says these ultra processed red dye in particular is really bad for you. And then one day, and no one can answer this question for me, Jillian. One day last year in November, the Biden administration after the election just went poof. Yeah, we agree. And I said to people, what was the study? What was the new piece of data that changed it? And I was saying this somewhat facetiously because I was like, what changed between Monday and Tuesday or Wednesday and Thursday, whatever day it was? And the answer I got was, and I'm like, right, because you knew it was bad the whole time. You told us that the Fruit Loops and the Starburst or whatever else the dye was in was fine. And then one day you went, Bobby was kind of right, but we don't want to say anything. And Good Morning America and all these other outlets did stories about like, the dyes and the ultra processed seed oils may not be good for you. And it's like, really? Because Maha's been saying that and you've been deriding them for, months, years, telling them that they're quacks. And suddenly you woke up one day acting like you were the guy that discovered this. I literally would clip or screenshot these news reports that I'm like, wait a second, Johnny come lately, where did this come from? Because you now suddenly are acting like you knew it when in fact you derided Bobby Kennedy as a quack for a year, and everybody else that said some of this stuff you'd said it was not science-based. And suddenly when the Biden administration did it, it was what a brilliant move because it causes cancer. Like, what? Time out.
When it comes to holiday gifting, I want to give people things that they'll love. Beautiful, timeless pieces that they'll wear for years. And that's one of the reasons I go with Quince. Everything's premium quality at a price that actually makes sense. Quince has something for everybody, whether it's silk tops and skirts for dressing up, perfectly cut denim for everyday wear, outerwear that actually keeps you warm and looks good. Their Italian wool coats, they're standout pieces. They're beautifully tailored, incredibly soft, and they're crafted to last for seasons. Every piece is made with premium materials from ethical, trusted factories, and they're priced far below what other luxury brands charge. The craftsmanship, it shows in every detail, from the stitching to the fit and the drape. It's elevated, timeless, and made to wear on repeat. I personally am obsessed with their super soft Mongolian cashmere sweaters. For only $50, they look and feel amazing. Guys, find gifts so good, you're going to want to keep them with Quince. Go to quince.com/Jillian for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Jillian to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Jillian.
On healthcare, though, to me, the thing that's fascinating about healthcare is it's pretty much the only industry that you can name where there's zero competition. None. You go to the
Right.
doctor and you ask a simple question. When in fact, not even you usually you don't even ask a question. You show up, they'll say you have a $20 copay. The doctor comes in, says we're going to run these tests. I'm going to give you these drugs. Okay, thank you very much. No one ever says, do I need it? How much does it cost? Can I get it cheaper? Is there a way to do it better? I'll tell you a funny
Yeah.
story. It's actually not funny, but it's illuminating. In 2008, I was switching jobs. And the night before I switched the job, we played this pickup game of softball. So we went to the National Mall. It's just a bunch of staffers, and we all walk around, and there's no field. It's just you will go 10 paces, and that's the pitcher's mound, and another 10 paces out is second base, and whatever. So we're playing this pickup game of softball, a bunch of staffers, and I was the last guy to show up for my team. And they said, "All right, Sean, you're pitching." First pitch goes by, guy whiffs it. Second pitch, this 6'4" dude drills it into my face,
Oh
takes
God.
out all
That's
my
not
teeth.
funny at all.
Well, apparently
Really?
federal
Oh.
insurance didn't at the time cover your teeth. So the government says to me after I get out of the ICU, they said now everything is dental. Okay, so I get out of the ICU after like 3 or 4 days to
Wow.
take the tube out, whatever, and I got like my mouth is all, and
Oh
they said okay, but that's dental, and we don't cover dental. So I had to get 8 root canals. So what did I do?
my
I started
gosh.
calling around to endodontists, and they'd pick up the phone, Dr. So and so's office, and I'd say, "Hey, my name's Sean. I need 8 root canals. If I come into your office and do all 8 at one sitting, what's the best deal you can give to me?" Now, aside from getting a lot of laughs, they were like, "I'm sorry, what?" And I said, so I called
Yeah.
a bunch and I shopped it. I literally shopped it around, and they would, and I'd say, "I'll sit there for one sitting." You don't have, so you
Yep.
minimize the gas and the whatever else in Novocaine
Oh.
and I drove down the cost by a lot. I think I ended
Yeah.
up getting like 8 for the price of 6 root canals.
Yeah.
And, but the
Yes.
point is that I injected competition into it. And same thing when I got my eyes, I got PRK, which is like LASIK. I shopped it around. What's the deal? And that's not covered by insurance. So what do you find? Market forces. Now, I'm not arguing that every piece of healthcare, like but the point is that there's zero price competition in healthcare. And the first thing that has to happen is, so I'm not a doctor, but I would say maybe so you have to have some basic level of healthcare. When I was 21, 22, 23. I was on the campaign trails and I would get catastrophic coverage for like $80 a month. So if I got really sick, I got
Yep.
covered. But if I just wanted to go, so you create some competition, some structure that's like you have your first say $5,000 is out of pocket through a medical savings account. So you or your employer can contribute to it. That way, when you call the doctor, you say, "Hey, I want to shop this around." I had an MRI a little while ago that wasn't covered, or some kind of imaging. It might have been just like an enhanced X-ray of some sort. I can't remember what it was. And again, the insurance company said we're not going to cover this. So I called around four
Yep.
or five places. I said, "What's the best deal you can do?" And they're willing. And I'd call back another place and say, "Hey, I just talked to the place down, just this far from my house, and they're willing to do it for $500. Would you guys match that?" "No, sure, we'll match it." But we need to add an element of market force competition into healthcare that's not existent right now. And to the extent that people are listening that say, orthopedic surgeon, so many people now in the healthcare space, in the medical space, refuse to even take insurance. They'll say, "Great, we'll see you, you pay
Yeah.
us, and then you go fight it out with your insurance company." So
Yes.
I would argue that
Yes.
we get back to a system where we have a health savings account that can roll over, right? So you can keep money, you can build a nest egg out of it. You or your employer can contribute onto it. You add that onto a catastrophic account that covers you if you have some kind of chronic illness like cancer or, et cetera, et cetera. But what kills me though, when I ask this question of like Dr. Oz or any of these guys, like why, or even the congressional leaders, they'll give me some sort of answer that's like what I just described to you, and I'll say, "Then why aren't we doing it?" And they'll go, the insurance company has a massive lobby, big pharma has a massive lobby, and their view is why we don't want to give up our piece. Think about this. You mentioned Obamacare. The biggest recipient of Obamacare money is the insurance companies. There's 24 million
Yes.
people on the exchange right now. And remember, as you described, just so people get this, Obamacare was you can keep your doctor if you like it, false. Keep your plan if you like it, false. And it was going to make healthcare affordable, false. Then Democrats, you said, passed these subsidies that said, hey, it's spiraling out of control. So we're going to pass temporary subsidies, hoping that that band-aid helps. It didn't. And now
Right.
the hot potato got handed to Republicans because they let those um, um, subsidies expire. And the answer is, well, you should keep subsidizing a crappy, unaffordable, spiraling out of control cost program because we don't want people to really know what we did to them. So I would argue that what we need to do more than anything else is use this opportunity as an inflection point that maybe it's a temporary bridge because I don't want anybody to go out without health insurance who's on the exchanges. And this is what's screwing people is right now costs are going up. So you have to make a decision right now for your family. Which plan do I want under Obamacare? What can I afford? And so I don't mind temporarily helping them while we figure out what to do. But I also think that like if we don't use this moment and rise to the occasion, again, this gets back to like then stop. If you're a Republican, you've known about this for 10 years. Grow up, stand up, lead on the issue.
All right, guys, if you like this clip and you want to watch the full episode, click here. And if you want more content like this, you can subscribe to the show by clicking here.